Okay, guys, I had a few issues, but now we're here. This is the live stream today for Lazy, oh shit, Lightroom Sunday. And the way that I wanted to do this today is I got a bunch of photos for you guys. You sent me so many photos and they look amazing. So what I want to show today is how I do editing inside of Lightroom. And then, you can always ask questions in the comment field and whatever, like if you have any questions about how I do or why I don't do things. But this is mainly, my editing process. So let's get some coffee. And let's start, man. Hey, and Maria and Masha says hi. Maria and Masha, hey guys, thank you so much for joining me today. This is going to be so exciting. Cool. So let's jump on here. So first of all, what I want to do here is that I want to figure out a way to, and you guys can still hear me. Is the audio okay? The audio good? Yeah? Let me know if the audio isn't there or if you can't hear anything because I'm wearing my headphones. So mainly what I wanted to do today is I wanted to show you guys what kind of photos that I have been sent. So first of all, what we can do here is that we're going to jump from the main cam and then into Lightroom. Inside of here in Lightroom, I got sent a bunch of photos. So we have photos from Anne-Catherine, she's from Mexico. We have from Casper from Denmark. We have from Elina, Denmark as well. From Hassan, and he's from United Kingdom. Niha from Denmark. Nicholas, dude, I know you're watching this. Miami. Rasmus Knudsen, Denmark. Rasmus Paltoft, Denmark. And then, I made some thumbnails out of this. So, mainly what I want to... Can you say hi again? Mainly what we're going to do now is that I'm going to go through this little editing process and then, let me know if you have any questions or, anything else. So, let's start off with Elina. So, Elina, you sent me this photo here and I can just try to take a look at it there. So, mainly how I want to do this now is that when you look at this here, it's shot with iPhone. Great photo. And what I was thinking is that since it's in the summertime and we wanted to emphasize that it's summer and it's bright outside and it's some warm colors, I would then try to think of, okay, what should I do then in order to get the kind of look that I want for these photos here. So first of all here with the I go inside from, you open up Lightroom as you see here, then you have two modules here. You have the library module where I always browse all my photos and go here because it goes faster because you don't have to render all the data that we're gonna edit later. So you can just go here, then you see I already made a little tweak that was for the thumbnail you see on this video. And then you can just go through all these photos really quick. And then see which ones you like, and then usually I would go in here, I would press 3 or something, and then from there, and there I just did it with the hotkeys. That's really good, Jonas. Now it's gonna be 2. So usually what I do here is that I use the rating tools down here in the bottom, as you see here. And why I do this is because Maria and Masha, you guys are awesome. Thank you for watching. And the reason why I do this is that then you have a bunch of photos, like 100, 200, 300, 400 photos. And in order to select the best ones, you can then rate them from 1 to 5 and whatever. And this is just a personal opinion, but what I do then, I then tend to delete actually the photos that I think are not going to be used because they're going to take up so much space. So that is what I would have done here. because then you go in and then you can you find out the best ones you have. So this will be my main selection. After that, from the library module, you go over in the develop tab. And by the way, quick fun fact: did you know that usually there's a default font? If you go in here and you right click here, you can then choose which one of these you want to show and which ones you don't. I only use library and develop. And then also, if you press right click here on Lightroom, you can go into identity plate, and then it actually allows you to pick your own font. As you see here, I use the Gilroy font as here. And then you can customize Lightroom inside of your own programs. And I think that's a really, really nice feature from Adobe to have, because then I feel it's more personal. So next step, because I'm only going to show you this once, then we're just going to do the editing. Develop module. Come in here. And then as you see, we have only Elina's photos right now. I'm just going to use this one here, and then I'm going to go on to the next ones. And you've probably already seen that, so that we're just going to shut off. Let me just get a little clear here, because I want to see you guys while I do this. Like that. Cool. Oi, coffee break. It's already been 6 minutes, man. Oi. So, what I want to do now is then, usually I would look for, okay, what, as we talked about before, what do I want to do with this photo? And I already did a little bit of cropping, because I had to just look at this, because I wanted to use it as a thumbnail. Sorry, man. Okay, Frederik. If you want to say go on, is it because you want to do the editing, or what is it, man? Oh, that's so nice. So, audio is good. Frederick, let me know if the audio is okay, because then I can just continue without thinking about it. So, if you get in there here, and you just want to start out with this photo, Elina, the one she actually sent me looked like, I can just remove this one here, the tab, looked like this. So as you see here, it was shot on an iPhone, and then there was, some black bars in the top. So the original one actually looked like this. So first of all, what I would do is then go in here, and then I would crop the photo in what format you would like. Since this is an odd format of what you usually shoot, I would just crop off the edges here, like that. Boom. And then you have a clear photo to start off with. And we are going to leave it like this for the whole time. And I want to show you why when we're done with this edit. So I have a few different presets that I use. Let's go, boys. Thanks for watching, man. Hey, Team Bird-On is supporting. If you're going to watch down in the comment field, Frederick is a part of the Team Bird-On, and we're going to, hopefully we can come and go to Greece this this summer, if they're not going to shut down the borders. I just want to get this straight up. Like that. Cool. Why is it folding? Like this and like that. Okay, cool. So we have the photo. What do you want to do? First off, you can just see here, if you just want to play around with it and just figure it out, like this doesn't need to have that much editing. In terms of, if you want to, like iPhone is a really, really great camera, and also you just go out here and you can like adjust maybe the exposure a little bit, give it some contrast. See, the highlights is actually pretty good. Maybe put down the shadows a bit, the whites, and give a little bit of exposure again. And that's it. If you look at it now, from the before and after, it's actually really, really clean. You see, there's a little difference, but it isn't much. And a lot of people would just say like, this looks fine. And let's just, go on with it. But I have a different style. So what I want to do is that, let's go in here again, and then we're gonna open up these right here. So the secret sauce, and the secret sauce is my preset pack. And if you open this up here, I have 10 different presets that I use. As you can see here, they vary a lot from one to another. But first of all, I want to go in here and then I can just say reset. So the edits I just did here, let's reset them. And then let's figure out, okay, what kind of edit do I want to do from here? So then what I would usually do is that I would go through the presets and then figure out what matches this photo the best. And if you check this one out here, I would say that this one maybe, or this one, but this one is nice as well. Let's go with secret sauce 7, and then this fucking mic. Stay there. Huh? Cool. Okay. What we do now is then I've chosen the preset that I want to use. Then you can go in here and then look, okay, so what fine adjustments do you want to do? And mainly here, I would say that I would just go through like this list that you have of all these different sliders. And we can just go through them briefly. So in here, for example, once again, you can go in and then you say, I don't know, if you want to bump up the exposure just a little bit. Maybe the temperature is a bit too warm here, so I just want to lower that a little bit. No, that was too much. Maybe it actually works. No. Okay. So we can go in here and then I just go through the different sliders and see, okay, this looks pretty nice. What about the vibrance, saturation? Maybe lower that a little bit. Dehaze. No way it looks. I think that looks nice. The tone curves are already made with this preset, but what you can do is then you can try to drag down here. So then if you want to create a little bit more contrast in your photos, you can drag it down here. And then if you want to bump up the highlights, you can then use the slider here. But I would just leave it for now. And then we come down to the HSL panel. So in here, you have a bunch of different options. So mainly the hue changes what color you see. So you have this green color, for example. If I pull out the green like that, it turns like to a very, very saturated green or desaturated green. And this is actually just a preference of what kind of style you have when you do your edits. I like to keep it fairly in this way the color is, and then when you have the way here as well, you can see when you go and put out and use the red slider, you're gonna affect everything that's red on the photo. And that's mainly what these sliders do. Like everything that had that color, you're gonna affect. So if you go in here and then you can maybe bump it down just a little bit, orange, let's see, and yellow. So yellow here also affects the greens. And I actually think that this could look pretty good. Let's see here, purple, orange looks nice. The blues are a little bit too purple, so let's change that down to more bluish. So that was the hue, the way you change the colors from one color to another. If you go on the saturation, then what you can do here is that you're gonna say, and you're gonna determine how bright the colors are, or how much color there is, how saturated is this color. So if you go here and pull the red all the way up, you can see it affects the reds completely. It's gonna destroy her skin tones as well. So I could just bump this up maybe a little bit. Get in here as well with the orange. I think the skin tone looks pretty good. Again, they are a little bit more warm, and it is iPhone photo, so you can't tweak that much. But if we go in here and, oh, that's interesting. Of course, this is not a natural look at all, but it can create a certain style if you want to. So maybe I want to bump it up just a little bit, because I know that if it's a photo for Elina to use, right, then you don't want to mess up too much with the colors. The blue sky again, maybe let's get back a little bit of saturation in that. You go on to the luminance, and then this is the last slider. The luminance slider decides how bright or how dark the colors are. So see here again, if you take the orange color, you go down, it's totally dark. And if you go up here, totally white. So if I want to have the orange just a little bit brighter, maybe you go in here, yeah, and then you can have that. And you can already see with the greens, maybe they can turn a little bit darker, because that's in the background. We want to highlight her. Also with the blues, maybe the blues could go a little bit up actually to give the sky a more natural look. The orange again, we already tweaked a little bit. Maybe the yellows. So the yellow here is gonna be this way. Cool. That was the HSL color. Then we have the split toning. Again, you don't have to use all these modules, but I usually just go like all the way through. And then, yeah. And then just use these to see what kind of look I like. So you see, it already created a preset here. And if you go in and you're gonna say, you pull this off, can't see much difference. But if you zoom in, and if, for example, let's say you pull this up, this is a way to turn off the effects. So you can see it here. This is the way you use certain effects, and it's also the same way, because you can see when we did the HSL slider, if you're gonna turn off this, you can see we did quite a lot of adjustments actually on the photo here. And then if you're gonna jump back into, so you can actually see what I do, then yeah, if you turn off this and use it, then you see we made quite a lot of difference. And one thing, if you want to get really tricky with it, you can use this one down here. It's called adjust luminance by dragging the photo. And if you do this, you're gonna press it. And then when you hover over, if you can see it here, down in here, that is gonna change from gray to white in terms of what color it can find. So if I hover over now, you can see that it changes to green. And here it's more red, and here's orange. And if you hold down this and you press the left of the mouse key and you pull it down, you can see you can then affect the slider with that color. And this is pretty smart when you're gonna, if you're just gonna go drag back and forth, but you don't really know, like, what am I hitting or what colors is it getting. Use this luminance key, and then you can pull it down and up like that. Cool. HSL, I don't want to do here anything. I think the split tone looks good. We can sharpen the photo as well. So if we're going to zoom in a lot, you see here, we have her face here. And since the iPhone and the phone photos, are just a little bit on sharp, because that's just the way when they're being made, it works better. If you want to sharpen up, like this is going to get totally sharped. So you can just pull it down here. I usually do it for around like 15 to 20 to 25 maybe, just to give it like a nice crisp look, but don't overdo it. Noise reduction, if there's too much noise in the photo, you can use that as well. Lens corrections, if you're gonna use it, and it can figure out what profile this has been shot in. Sometimes you can find it, and then you would go in here, and then you would find the phone, and I think it has the Apple, and you can see here it did a few adjustments in terms of what angle the photo was shot in, and I'm not gonna use it for now, just to keep it simple. But if you want to see here as well how it works, then we can just go down again. If you want to transform the photo in a certain way, like if you want to tilt it or whatever, you can use it in here. Don't use that much. I don't use that slider that often, mainly for architecture. Further down, vignetting. If you want to pull in and get Elina more in focus, use this. And then you can go the other way and it's going to be white. Don't use the white one, it looks trash. But you can use a little bit of vignetting, but I'm going to do it in a different way that I'm going to show you later. So for the grain part, usually you add this for photos that are really, really sharp. And since it is an iPhone photo, I don't think we should use it that much. So maybe like 5. And you can see here it's already getting much more smooth than you do here. So when you add a little bit of grain, it just adds a nice texture to the photo. And you see here to here. So I would say to give it a little bit of texture, let's go with 10. And then here's the last one, and this is the slider that has been used quite a lot for in the other, not this year, but maybe like 2 years ago, when you want to have the orange and teal look. And the orange and teal look, like mainly how it works or why it works is that you have our orange skin tone, and then teal, would be the sky or would be the shadows, and they're two opposite colors, so they work great together. And if you want to see more of that, go into Adobe Color Themes. Then you can see what colors that are opposite of each other and then creates the best contrast, which is the orange and teal look. And I think, if I remember right, that all you had to do was just go here to the slider in the calibration module, and then you just have to go all the way, let's say here, for example, and then you pull the red slider, I think it was, no. Which way was it? Maybe it's the green ones, like this, and then you pull this the other way. There is a tutorial on it, I know that for sure, but yeah, I don't want to use that here. So now we've gone through all the different adjustments, right? And this is what I would usually do for a photo. Depends, like, how much time you have and how much time you want to spend on it. So go back up, see, are we happy with how the photo looks? Maybe we could brighten it up just a little bit as well, just to give it a more summer kind of vibe look. And then I would say, okay, are we done here? Almost. So then what I would use here, I would use a radial filter. And what a radial filter does is that you can drag it here, and then you're going to drag it around Elina. And then what you can do is that you can then change everything that's outside or inside of the filter. So let's say here, for example, if you want to lower down the exposure, you see here she turns, it lowers the exposure on her. Then you go over here to the inverted, and then you're going to say invert the filter. And what this does here, in my opinion, with that you're getting more focused on her, which is what we want, because she's in the foreground, right? And the background we want to keep for, yeah, it's not the focus, she's in focus. So if you're gonna go in here then, and then I can just redo this. If you double click, by the way, if you double click on the exposure, it will then return to normal. And you can do the same thing here for effects, I'm pretty sure. So if you do it like this and blah, 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 and if they double click, it will then turn everything back to normal. So let's say we want to have a little bit more focus on her. So I might just lower the blacks a little bit, shadows, up the contrast. Like, it's just finer details, maybe bump down the clarity a little bit. What clarity does is that it makes a little bit more softer look if you put it in that direction. So see, if I pull all the way down, it's gonna create this dreamy look. So we can just pull that down a little bit. And then already here, you can see if I toggle it on and off, we already create a little bit more depth into the focus, into the photo. So let's keep it there. And then what I would do maybe is that I would then duplicate this layer, and then I would invert it, double click the effects button, like that. And then maybe just add a little bit of exposure again to her. Maybe that was a little bit too much. Maybe we can add a little bit of exposure and then lower down the white so we don't mess too much with her skin tone. And then we're there. One last thing that we could do, because I just want to see what I did for the thumbnail photo. Let's see if we matched the photo that I did there. So you see here, it's actually a lot darker. So this time here, I wanted to, this was not the one, this one here. I wanted to make it brighter. And then you can see I tried to do an edit with the other preset where it was just toning down all the different colors. And now I actually don't know what I like the most. So I would say, because if you can do something like this, maybe what we can do is that we can lower down the whites a little bit. Something like this. And then maybe we should do something about the tone curve. A little bit, just a little bit. Like that. What do you think? So now we're gonna go in here, in the before and after module. And then I would say, press Y on your keyboard, and then you can see the before and after. So when I look at it now, here, you can see there's a big difference. And of course, it always varies a lot in terms of how much editing you want to do. And this is maybe not the most natural look, but it is a certain look that I think emphasizes the photo in terms of brightness and color, and yeah, just to give it a more warmer summer feel. So, just want to see here as well if we're gonna go, and then let's say we have this one here. Cool. So we're gonna jump back into our editing here in Lightroom. And then the reason why I said that you always should keep it in full size, whatever you're gonna do your cropping, is because then you can do different crops. So for Elina's photo here, I would say that we could, I don't know if we should do more with maybe the saturation of her, maybe just a little bit down. This one could go up. Yeah, this might be a little bit better. So if we just lower the luminance, and this is the thing, like you're never finished, right? You're never finished with anything of the photos. You just have to come up with a product that you're happy with, and with the edit that you're happy with, and then also that the person you're editing for is happy with as well. So last thing before I'm gonna export this, is that I would then go in, and then I would go in here, click left, and then I will say create a virtual copy. And what creating a virtual copy does is that you're taking all the data and everything that you've done, and then you can go in here, and then you can say press, and then it will create a copy of that photo. And mainly why I want to do that is that then I have multiple options to do more, or to do different copies, or to do different crops, sorry. So here, I would say we're done. Not going to do anything for now. Go up here to this module. Then you say crop overlay, or you could just press R. So once again, if you go here, press R on your keyboard, boom, it goes in there. And then we can do some different crops. And usually the different crops you have, you have 16:9 is for, your phone, the format you watch on your phone. You have 4:5 for Instagram, 1:1. People use that for Instagram as well, or portraits. And then you have 5:7. I mainly export my photos in 16:9, 5:7, and 4:5, or 1:1 if it works. But 4:5 takes up more screen space on your phone inside of Lightroom. So first of all, the one I would start out with would be the 5:7, because that's my main edit. So you go in here, and then you can see it already did the crop. You press it, and then it's gonna do its thing here. So then what I would do is that I would then drag this down, maybe just a little bit, and then just play around with how you want the edit to be. You could maybe pull it up, but like we can't really get anything of the sky here because then she's too low in the frame. So I would put it here, and then either you could keep her out to the left, or you could drag it a little bit in like this to make it more of a portrait kind of look. And then maybe a little bit down. This is no joke. I always sit like this when I do the edits. I think this could work. Maybe a little bit up. Yeah. What do you think? Gonna do it like this. And then what I want to do in here, I would then go in and say export, and then I created a bunch of different export presets. So this is if you want to export it for web, if you want to export it for YouTube thumbnails, in terms of it can't go, anywhere above a certain amount of megabytes when you upload it. And Flax is here, dude. I need to pronounce your name the right way. Flakes. I'm gonna say Flakes. And Flakes and I actually just started tweeting now. He's a really cool graphic designer. So if you're gonna watch the comments, go in and watch his work. It's really awesome, and who knows, maybe we're gonna do something together in the future. Let's see here. So if you go in, if you want to export it for YouTube thumbnail, it's a certain way. Web instead of pixels. And then what I would use here is export PM. And PM stands for Peter McKinnon. If you haven't seen Peter McKinnon and any of the tutorials he's done on photos, videos, whatever, go in and check them out. He's really good at those things and a bunch of others. But he made a preset inside of Lightroom to export photos. And mainly I would use this when I'm going to export it just for my own and also for Instagram. So you hit export, and then your photo is ready. Then it will be a file, and you can do whatever. Upload it to Instagram, Then again, you can go back to this photo, or I would actually just make another copy. So you say create virtual copy, and then you got it, dude. Yeah, check him out. And thank you for the love here on the chat. Guys, it's our first live stream doing this, and I really hope that you like to watch. Like, you just have to be chill, like chill on a Sunday, doing photos, drinking coffee. That's perfect. So I would actually go in again, and we made another copy. So then you can go in here and say 4x5, and then decide, like, do we want to make a portrait? And then if you want to do that and you're happy with the crop that you made, something like this, you're gonna go in again, say export, and then it's gonna be the same name as the other one. I just say use unique names, then you just have multiple files. But if you wanna go, and if you wanna then say, okay, let's try to do something different, I would crop it back out. And then once again, if it does this and it's gonna go horizontal and not vertical, you can press X, and then it will switch, you see? So you press X, the crop will switch from one to another. Yeah. So keep that, straighten it up, and then you go in here. So you see here we already got more backdrops to work with. And then you can go in, and then you can get fancy with it. If you want to have some sky, or if you want to show, like her in the lower end, really it always depends, like what's your style, what kind of way do you want to do it. I might want to keep, just a little bit of the sky up here, just to give it a different kind of look. Then hit export here, and we're done. Once again, if you want to go in, and then you can see here the before and after of this photo here. You see this, once again, there's a big difference, but yeah, it depends like what way you wanna tweak things. Okay, that was one photo in 34 minutes? Damn. it takes too much time for me to do this, man. Ugh. But again, it's a hobby, it's fun, and I enjoy doing it. So now, like I keep talking and talking and talking. If you have any questions on the way in terms of what way you want to use these sliders or how you want to start out doing photography or how you're going to do the edits, just let me know. And then, yeah, I'm going to try to reply in the comments after this as well. So Elina, thank you so much for your participation. Now we're gonna go back, and then what you can do now is actually for the rest of the photos, which I'm gonna do here, is that you're gonna take this one. Let's say that we have this one here, and then you can go down. You press your right mouse key, and then you can say, or maybe it's actually not this one. 2 seconds. Why is it here? Yeah, okay, sorry. So what you then want to do, if you want to apply the edits that you already did to this photo to the rest, and this is why preset works so well, instead of you going to do all these edits manually, you can just copy paste them. And the way you do this is that you have the photo here, and then you select, this one, this one, this one. And then when you selected all of these photos here, you go over here to this part where it says sync. Press sync, and then in here, what it then decides is that how many of the edits or in what amount of the edits that you already did do you want to apply to the rest of these photos. And if you see here, you can choose to say check all, but maybe I wouldn't do this with the cropping, right? Because we crop this photo in a certain way and it might not work on others, but else the rest of this you can just keep on. If you did any adjustments with like the local brushes or the graduated filters as well, you should keep this one off as well, because if you've done something to the eyes or anything, leave this off. But then if you go and you say synchronize, what it have then done when you go in here then and you just click on one of the photos is that it already made an edit of it. So then if you go in here and you say before and after, let's go in here, you can see it already did the edit. Like I wouldn't do much to this. Maybe, go in and then let's see here, maybe lower down the exposure just a little bit, and then the grain actually works on this photo. If you want to make it a little bit more a more tint pink, maybe like this, you go in and then you can say hit this off 4x5, get it directly to Instagram like this, done, export, and then it works. So this is a really, really quick way of doing it, and this would actually work really, really well as a screensaver as well, because it managed to work the way up here. And if we go like this, say 16:9, it's gonna change. Boom. And you have it here. Alfred says hi. Alfred, how you doing, man? I hope you're gonna enjoy this tutorial. If you just bumped in here now, you're gonna learn a lot today in Lightroom. Once again, now we have a format here for iPhone, which Elina can use the way she wants to. Yeah, go in again, hit export, you know the drill. That was the first photos, and I want to try to keep it to an hour, so we're gonna go briefly through the rest of these. But if you're gonna go back again and we're gonna look at all the different photos now, I want to go with, let's do some nature. So Casper sent me this photo here. This looks nice. It's so crisp, and I can't really figure out um, if it's shot with an iPhone or with a DSLR. And I think it was a DSLR. I wrote that here, but I can't quite figure out because again, light is everything, and the way this photo is light up, perfect, man. So actually, you don't have to. I almost wouldn't do anything with this photo, Casper. It's a really, really great photo, and that's why I think you should try to get. Is that how can you do less editing to make it look more natural, and that's also where you tend to be a really, really great photographer in eventually when you're going to do these great photos. But one thing you could do is that might go in here, and then I have some presets for my tone curves, which is this module right here, and often you can do a lot of the edits in the tone curves. And then you can just go in here and then maybe try to apply 1 or 2 or 3. And then for example, I think this one here would work pretty well. This one works as well, but it's too much color. So maybe this one here. So what you can see, the only thing it actually did is that, it just did a little bit of tweaking here in the highlights, the darks, and the shadows. What I would do, one thing though here, is that I think this part is a little bit dark. We're going to do that later in the crop module. But I like the blue color to be a little bit more desaturated. So if you're going to go in here in the HSL split toning, I would then go into the saturation. Once again, use this tool here, the adjust saturation. You can hover over here. Then we're going to drag this down. It would then change the color just a little bit. Go in here again, the hue, now I know it's the blue color. So this way here, we can change it up to give it a little bit more natural look as well. In the aqua, it doesn't quite get it. What we get of the luminance for the blue, you see here it turns really dark. Maybe you want to fade it out a little bit, like that. And then also the greens. I would go in, hover over, and then figure out, okay, it's the yellow color we're gonna go through. And then pull them either way to figure out what vibe you wanna present. You can almost make this like it's autumn, right? But if you go in here maybe, and then you can make it a little bit more green this time. Saturation as well. Maybe fade them a little bit actually. I think that looks nice. Something like that. I think we have a pretty decent photo actually. Now, a thing you can do, once again, I could do a bunch of different things here. You can go in, sharpen it up. You could remove chromatic collaboration. One thing I would do is actually you could use this one here, the graduated filter, and then you can drag this from the bottom of the screen all the way up here. And if you press O on your keyboard, you can see what part of the photo that is gonna do. Just want to make sure here that we're doing okay in the live. Excellent connection. Cool. Yeah. So here you can keep it down here, and then if you press O on your keyboard, it will toggle it off and on. So what I can then do is that I think this is a little bit too dark. I can then go in and then maybe raise the exposure just a little bit, and also the shadows. Then you can see there's actually a little tree down there that was hidden. and then if you do it like this, I think this look is a little bit more clean. And then obviously what you need to do here is that I would use the crop tool and then, yeah, go in here and then figure out what way you want to crop it. So if you go here, you see this is kind of disturbing to me. So I would remove that, maybe going down here. And already I think we have a much more clean photo. If you really want to play with the reflection area here in the middle, you could go in and then make it into a 1-1, 1x1 crop, and then hit the spot right here where the lake is ending. And then you see like you create this trippy mirror effect somehow. So there's the same amount of sky on the top, and then also here in the bottom. Yeah, it could look pretty good, but I think for now I'll just go with a 5/7, or we can do 4x5 if you want to go for Instagram. And then, yeah, maybe crop a little bit here actually. So something like this could work. Yeah, again, great photo, man. Wow. Export, doom. Let's see here. Then we could go on to another one. And oish, it's having difficulties exporting this. Just let me know if I can go here. Let's get off some of these in order to keep the stream more smooth. But yeah, it should work. Should work pretty good. Go on from this one here. Let's try something different. So I think this one would be pretty fun to do. So Rasmus sent me this photo here. Great photo, man. Look, like Rasmus Paltoft. If you want to search for him on Instagram, if you go here, you see like he just caught it with. I'm gonna turn off this right here. 2 seconds. Maybe this would work. So the way this one here is captured is just amazing. Like you just hit it when the waves are showing up here, and then you have a person in the middle with a red jacket. Great photo, man. So I'll go in here. Look, I will then pull out the secret sauce as we did here. And then I would try to just look through some of the different presets and see what works. Number 3 was really good. Number 8 would work as well. This is too faded, black and white, doesn't really work. This could work actually. Secret sauce número 9. And if you do this here, I would say that we should brighten up the shadows just a little bit. Temperature were a little bit too warm on this one. Give a little bit more of contrast. Bump up the exposure. Get the blacks down. Clarity could be bumped up to give it, a more contrasty look. Texture could go up. And then the sky, I would like to change the blues. So either it should be, depends again on your style, but let's change the hue for now in a little bit more into the teal. Saturation could go up, maybe. Let's see here in the split toning what we did. So yeah, I really like the way it already looks. Last thing you could do then, either to use the vignette tool or, as we did before, use the radial filter like this, create it around her, because she's our person in focus. Once again, you press O, you see what's being affected. If I'm gonna invert this, boom, everything else is being affected, right? And then let's use the dehaze filter. And what the dehaze filter actually, what I still want to quite figure out how it performs the best is, so this way here it brightens everything up, make it a little bit more misty. But if you go the other way, you know, it really turns it into this more darkish photo. And now what I don't like here is that how it affects the sky, right? I like how it affects everything else but the sky. So what you can do is that you see the filter here, but you don't want it to be up here or it to affect this area. So you can grab a brush inside of Lightroom, and then you pick the brush, and then I can just use my wheel here and then scroll all the way up, and you can see that it changes. And then what I can do is that I then press Alt, and then it will change it into minus. And when it's in minus, you then go and you can remove everything here that's being affected. So I only wanted it to affect the rocks. Press O again, and then you can see now when we then go in here, you choose the radial filter here, it only affects this. So if you go in again, you want to do some adjustments, you know, you can make it darker, you can do something else, but it's only going to affect these places here. I'm going to lower the blacks a little bit, maybe up the contrast. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Maybe we can just brighten up her jacket a little bit by using the brush. Let me see here. Oof. It's getting difficult on a Sunday morning. Even Adobe don't want to do this, don't want to work. I just picked the brush and then bump up the contrast just a little bit, like that. Just to highlight her jacket. You can see it's just those small adjustments that does you have more focus on this. So now I think what we can then look at is that how did I do the edit versus how did Rasmus do the edit? Because once again, like you have different styles, you have all of that. So if we're gonna do in and go the same crop as he did, you can do 4x5, add it up here. This could look pretty good. Once again, I could do a lot of things with this, man. Like I could take these rocks here, maybe open up the whites just a little bit. Maybe the shadows could go up even further. A little bit like this. Maybe make it a little bit colder by adjusting the temperature. And if you then go in here now, you say before and after, you can see a pretty huge difference in this photo and the other. And then I don't know if I can then press here, and then if I can compare instead. Let me see here. So if I have this one, this is Rasmus's edit, by the way. So if you go in here now, and then you can see the way that it looks. You have this photo, and then can I say reference view, drag and drop. Come on. Yeah, there we go. So you can see again, like this is the way of how you edit what costs Lightroom per month. 2 seconds, Andreas, and then I'm gonna answer you. You can see here there's a difference in terms of the look here that Rasmus used. It's a lot of contrast, and the blue color is very, very teal. And also he changed the color of the jacket as well. That's nice, dude. Into yellow. So again, it's two different styles, and then to determine which one you like or whatever, it's just figuring out eventually, like what kind of way do you want to edit your photos. But yeah, dude, I'm gonna send this to you if you want to use it or whatever. But then you can see here there's a big difference when photographers do different edits. And let's jump back into this here, and then into the editing process as well. And then we can maybe I'm gonna go with, I know Nicholas sent a photo here that I wanna try to do, like, oh yeah, Alfred, how much does Lightroom cost per month? I think if you're a student, actually you can go in there on their website, and I can just link it in the description. I think it's like 90 Danish crowns per month if you're a student. So it's really cheap, and you also get Photoshop, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just see here. Adobe Creative Cloud. And let's see. Buy now. Wait. So different prices for this one would be, yeah, see here, I'm gonna put it on the screen. So here for photography, if you're just one man, it's actually only 92. And if you're a student as well, I think if you're gonna go in here, you can get all the apps for only 150 Danish crowns per month. It's really, really cheap. And yeah, if you're just a one-man army, 92 for Lightroom and Photoshop, and you get all the apps now for 275. That's pretty cheap. Anyway, Nicholas, your photo here, I wouldn't do much, man. Like, I would actually just do maybe one thing. You could use a radial filter on this one here, because I want to emphasize the lights in the middle. And then I would, again, invert it, I think, and then maybe take the blacks and lower that down, just like this, maybe up the contrast a little bit. And yeah, so if you go in and you toggle this off, you can see that you removed almost like the other things that I wouldn't use for this photo. And then you just keep focus on what's important here, in my opinion, which is the moon, the light from the moon, and then the little boat here. And that's basically it. Like, I don't think you need to do that much with this photo, actually. You could go in again and then look at some of the, the presets here wouldn't really work that well. I think you could try to use Secret Sauce 7 maybe, because then what you can do is that you can make it a little bit colder. I wouldn't add any grain to it, because it's just, yeah, it's doing the night, and I don't know what you shot this with, but it's some sort of a phone, right? And yeah, like that, you created another kind of video. Bertram as well, dude, thank you for joining the live stream. We're just about to just have 4 photos left, and then we're gonna call it a day. But yeah, again, Nicholas, I know that you're watching this. You can just go in here, and you don't have to use the presets that I just did. Like, all you could do here would just take the photo, press reset, and then once again, like, use the graduated filter. I should just find it in the history maybe, like that. Update, like this, right? So you see here, with and without graduated filter, done. Radial filter. This is nice. Oi, this has actually been quite fun. Oh, I'm gonna do the edit with these glasses on the next time. But the only problem is if I do the edit with these glasses, and I just want to see here, I got a photo from Rasmus. I got a photo from Rasmus and Rasmus Paltoft, if you want to look him up on Instagram. And dude, you must have been shooting this with a drone, no? Because you're outside here, or else you're on a really, you're on a cruise ship or something. But I expect that this is shot with a drone, and it's a really cool photo, man. And what I would do here would be, I think, because this is shot with a drone, you have a lot of details in this photo, so you can do quite a lot when you're gonna drag and drop these sliders. So I think what we could do would be something like, let me see here. I would go in again. I use the presets that I have because like that's what I've been creating for the past 4 years. And then first of all, keep it as well the same width and everything, and check out to see what kind of look do we want. So once again, go in here, the secret sauce, but maybe they're not gonna. This could work. This is really cool as well. I think number 2 could be nice. Número 2. I'm just gonna go in here. I'm just gonna, yeah. So I think this one here could be really cool. Let's see. Maybe bump down the exposure a little bit. Again, the highlights in the sun is just blown out. So either you're gonna try to fix them by pulling it down like this, or you should blow them out just to emphasize the flare that we have. And I think for this one, no, because you got some really cool shadows in the clouds in the back end. So let's keep it for now. And what could we do here? If I raise the blacks just a little bit, I think that looks really nice. You're gonna ump out. Yeah, dude, this photo is insane, man. Rasmus, you did a great job on this one. And okay. Sometimes you just like, sometimes I know what I want with these edits. Sometimes I just go with it. So actually in here I see if we, but then it's clipping the highlights. So we need to be very gentle with this, you see? So if you can see, actually I want to go further. I want to make it more cold, but then you can see it's going to clip this. So I would undo those adjustments. You just put Command Z or Control Z on Windows. And then I think what you should do then, let me just check this here. 3, 2, 1. Yep. So what I would do here then is then again, we've been using these radial filters all day, man, is to create one of them. Drag it just inside here of the sun, like that, invert it, and then drag the temperature slider more down, so we don't affect the sun the same way. And just make a little bit outside of here, don't do anything with the exposure. And then I think we're not gonna affect the sun too much. So this could work. And then what I would do here would probably to go, let's see what it does if we're gonna go with some of the dehaze in this one. Still not clipping a little bit. And from here, it would just be to play with the HSL slider in the blues. And I think to keep it there. Sorry. And to maybe change the colors just a little bit. And up this one. I think we're there more or less. You can see it's a total different photo, and maybe you could do this in a more, like a warmer edit with the sun, with keeping the warm colors. But this one already could be the one. I think if you, what you could do here is that you could play with some graduated filters. Maybe drag one from the side and one from another, like this. And then I would, again, as I did with Nicolas's photo, like pull down the blacks, the exposure a little bit. Same thing here. And then pull it up like this. So we want people to lead people, through the light beam that's going all the way down here. And it could use some saturation as well. So if you're gonna amp that up just a little bit, I think we have a pretty nice photo. If you want to have some more attention on the lighthouse, but then again, it's pretty difficult to do so much with it. Let me see what I can do. Maybe dehaze a little bit, but then I have to go in really, really close. Once again, press Alt to shift, and then you can brush outside of here. And then we can still see the lighthouse, and I'm not really satisfied with the way that it does it here with the way it raises the shadows of it. So maybe just the clarity, to make it more, to make it pop a little bit more. But it's a little bit difficult to do in this photo. Here I would definitely also create a virtual copy, because this is already made for phone, right? It's let's see if we're gonna go like this. So you can do it two ways. I think this looks nice. You can decide as well. But this could work as well, because you wanna follow the way down here, right? And you wanna keep the lighthouse in the middle, maybe. Just like this, maybe up the contrast. Yeah, there we go. The white doesn't need to be that bright. Yeah, I could spend a whole hour on just this one photo, but I think we have a pretty decent look. The way that it looks now, so you can see here more adjustments, and then I will then hit export, and then we'll be done. How much did we did? Almost 1 hour and 10 minutes. Shit. Oi. I don't know if you can swear here, but in a way you can do whatever you want. Just want to showcase the last photo, because I think already now I decided that I want to do another one of these, because there have been so many great photos, and I didn't get through them all, because I had to figure out the way this should be set up, or how to do this setup. But this one here I got, and dude, it's from Hassan from the UK, and I can't figure out how you did it, man. Like, is it with an iPhone as well, or is it with a DSLR? Because it's so, must be with the iPhone. But mainly here, like, once again, like, you could add a bunch of different presets to this one, and it would just make it look, but it already looks amazing. Like, and sometimes you don't need to use a lot of these. I would just go back into the tone curves, maybe like that, and then to really emphasize this photo here, go in, if you want to use it for Instagram, and then center the boat in the middle, And I tend to have a difficult time with this. And also you can adjust these one here. And what you can do is that you can actually take this one here, the angle tool, and then you can drag a line from where you see the horizon, and then Lightroom will do its best to straighten it out. And sometimes I can't really figure out how or in which way to do it, because I think my eyes are tilted like this. I don't know, so sometimes I can't figure out when things are in the middle or not. But I think this works pretty well. And yeah, bump up this contrast, maybe make it a little bit more, give it some vibrance to pop the colors. And then you could either keep the boat in the middle, or you could just go down and then let the leaves from these plants lead you, to this place. But I definitely think that we should do it like this, and then keep the boat in the middle. Yeah, there's still a few photos, but I think for now that that's it. I think we should end it here. Don't want to make it too long. Don't want to do anything else. But it's been really, really fun, and it's a great way to keep me updated on the Lightroom game. And I hope that you guys learned something from this. Once again, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to see more of these Lazy Sunday Lightroom edits, give this video a like as well. Subscribe. That would be awesome, so we can get more people to watch these videos. I have a lot of things planned besides these live streams. They're gonna come a really, really big project soon. But yeah, mainly I just enjoyed doing these edits of your photos. And then I think we should end it for now with this beautiful photo shot by Hassan. So we're gonna end the live stream, take off these, put on the glasses, and then get our second cup of coffee. You guys are gonna have an awesome lazy Sunday. See ya, man. Jones out. I'm gonna say it again. Jones out. Yeah, I didn't quite figure that out, or how I was gonna end the live, so I'm just gonna do it here. Yes. Sorry. Thank you. Bye.